Hey, welcome guys. Tony Porter, Cards and Dice TV. Remember to like and subscribe to my channel for more exciting content. Today we're continuing the series with using Here's the Pitch, and it's the 1973 World Series replay. It's the second consecutive time I've replayed this series. The first time was with Replay Baseball, the classic version, and I will be playing several more series using these game engines. Right now, we're coming up to Game 5 of the 1973 World Series, and historically, it was Vita Blue versus Jerry Koosman. Vita Blue had a good day, gave up 2 runs, but Jerry Koosman was even better. Pitched 6 innings, allowing only 3 runs, and then it was Tug McGraw who went almost 3 innings, 2.2, picked up his second save for the Mets' 2-0 victory in Game 5 of the 1973 World Series. We're replaying that game with the same pitchers, the same lineups, using Here's the Pitch baseball. And let's do it. Let's look at the lineups quickly for both these teams. And the lineups are for the A's, who are visiting at Shea Stadium in beautiful downtown Flushing, Queens, is the shortstop Bert Campaneris. He leads off, followed by Joe Rudi, the left fielder, and his rating at in left field is circled because he's a 3, and that's kind of a standout in this game. So I'm getting a little bit closer to the nuances and really highlighting those unique features of this game. Batting third and playing third base is Sal Bando. Cleanup will be the center fielder, Reginald Martinez Jackson. Number 5 will be Gene Tennis, the first baseman. 6 will be Jesus Alou, who's highlighted because he doesn't strike out or walk very much. And 7th is going to be Ray Fosse, the catcher, who has a pretty good arm at a -2, and that is going to deter a lot of the base stealing on the base pass for the Mets. Finally, batting 8th is Dick Green, the second baseman, and batting 9th is an excellent fielder and an excellent pitcher, Vita Blue, the left-hander. So we got 2 left-handers going today. Vita Blue versus Jerry Koosman. Let's look at the Mets lineup. It's going to be Wayne Garrett leading off. He's a third baseman. Second baseman, Felix Millan. He's highlighted because he doesn't strike out very much, so you have to only look at his card. Batting third is going to be Rusty Staub, the right fielder, who has a poor shoulder. His fielding should be knocked down historically if you want to play it historically accurate. He injured his shoulder against the Reds in right field. He bounced off the wall, and so he was handicapped with that issue. Batting fourth is the left fielder Cleon Jones. Probably Cleon's greatest season was the 1969 season, but he still kind of held his own. Batting fifth is going to be John Milner, the hammer, playing first base. 6th is going to be Jerry Grody, the catcher. 7th is Don Hahn, the center fielder. He's circled because he's a 3 out there. Then 8th is Buddy Harrelson, the switch-hitting defensive shortstop, who's a 2. And finally, batting 9th, using his pitcher hitting card, is Jerry Koosman. He will be a 1 pitcher hitting card today. So we're ready to play some ball. Let's get to it. All right, it's Jerry Koosman, the left-hander, versus Bert Campaneris. And we're ready to start here. Red, white, and blue. And let's do it. There's going to be a 3 and a 35. And a 335 is going to be a fly ball. Left field. And right there is Cleon Jones with the first out of the game. F7. Joe Rudi's next. Pitch from Koosman. And it's a 561. 561. That's going to be a base hit. We're going to roll on the card chart. And that's a 534 and a 57. He is -4, so it's a 53, and that'll be a base hit single for Rudi. So 1 out single, and the A's have a runner on first. Next up is Sal Bando. Here's the pitch to Sal. It's a 656, and a 656 is again on the Koosman card, the column that you don't want to roll if you're the Mets. He's got a lot of hits on both 5 and 6 on his card in the 51 to 66 range. So it's going to be another hit. And let's see what happens here. I'm going to roll on the power chart again, and it's a -4. It's a 154. And a 154 is a 76 minus 4 is a 72, and a 72 is going to be a drive in the gap. That's going to split the outfielders and roll to the wall for Bando. Will they try to score Rudy? No, they're going to hold him up. So it's second and third, only one out. And next up is Reginald Martinez Jackson. Infield is going to play in. Let's do it. It's early in the game. There's one out. If there's nobody out, I'd play back and perhaps even walk Reggie. I may even walk Reggie here, actually. Try to get a double play. Let's do that. Let's intentionally walk Reggie and pitch to Gene Tennis. Here's a pitch. All right, it's a 631, and a 631 will be a fly out. He is a righty, so it's going to be a fly out to right center field. And that's going to be a sacrifice fly to Staub in right, whose ailing arm doesn't allow him to get a good throw on that ball. And so it's an RBI, and the A's, with the series tied at 2 apiece, have taken a 1-0 lead. Here is Jesus Alou. Strikeouts and walks can only come off his card. It's going to be a 636, and that is a fly out to right center field again. So it's Staub out there. So that's 2 away now. Well, that's actually the third out of the inning. So 1 run comes in on 2 hits. And the A's have taken a 1-0 lead. The Mets are coming to bat. All right, Vita Blue versus Wayne Garrett, the left-hander, lefty on lefty. It's going to be a 436, and a 436 is a fly ball. With that 7, it will be a catch by Rudy. So 1 down. Next is Felix Milan, and it's a 161. 161 will be a fly ball to center. And under it is Reggie Jackson for out number 2. And here's Rusty Staub. Rusty Staub with a 232. And that's a fly to left. Easy pickings for Joe Rudy. And 3 fly balls. And we go to the top of the second, 1-0 A's. All right, catcher Ray Fosse leads off. A pitch from Jerry Koosman, who gave up 2 hits and a run in the first inning. It's a 6-12. And that will be a strikeout. So Koosman gets Fosse with a curveball. And next is Dick Green. Here's a pitch from Koosman. And it's a 225. A 225 will be a fly ball. No, it's it's a fly ball to left field. Right there is Cleon Jones, and he squeezes it for out number 2. 2 down. Here's Blue. And Koosman shakes off the sign. Now he gets the one he wants and pumps one down the pipe to the pitcher hitting card. Blue is a number 2, and that's going to be a 636, and that will be a ground ball to first base. The hammer picks it up, steps on the bag, and that retires the side. Oh, I put it the wrong spot there. Vita Blue facing Cleon Jones, John Milner, and Jerry Grody. Here's the pitch. It's a 6-11. And that's a 2 or less will be a 6-11 will be a fly ball and that's Rudy in left center field. Drifts under it and makes the catch. One down. John Milner's next with a 435, and a 435 will be a fly out to right field. Backing up a few steps is Alou, and he's got it. 2 away. So far, 5 fly balls. They're getting the ball in the air. It's not carrying very much. Here's Jerry Grody, pitch from blue, and that's a 622. And a 622 is going to be a ground ball, and that's a line drive and caught. 622, and that is caught by, he's a righty, that's caught by the second baseman, who's playing towards the middle of the infield. L4, no runs, no hits, 3 up, 3 down. Easy inning for Vita Blue. He retired 6 in a row. We go to the top of the 3rd inning. All right, Koosman is facing Campaneris, the top of the order. Campaneris, Rudy, and Bando. And it's a 5 and a 12, and that's a strikeout. Checks his swing. They check with the first base umpire, and he goes around. Next is Joe Rudy, who is singled in the 1st inning. Here's a pitch, and it's a 6-13, and that is a base on balls. Oh no, wrong place. 6-13, and that is the right place. It's a base on balls. So Rudy's on at first. Here's Sal Bando, pitch from Koosman. That's a 434, and a 434 will be a fly ball left field. Backing up a couple of steps is Cleon Jones, and he's there, out number 2, and here comes Reggie. Here's a pitch. It's a 326, check swing, and they ring him up. So 3 strikeouts for Koosman. No runs, no hits, a walk, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. It's the bottom of the order for the Mets coming up. It's going to be Hahn, Harrelson, and Koosman. All right, Don Hahn, the batter. Here's a pitch, and it's a 545. 545, and that is a ground ball to first base. Right there is Tennis, and he makes the play. Next is Buddy Harrelson, pitch from blue, a 563, and a 563 is a flyout. He's batting righty. It's a flyout to right center field. Coming over is Jackson and Alou. They come together, but it's Alou who calls off Jackson for the catch. And next is pitcher hitting card for Koosman, a number 1. So we're looking in here. That's going to be a 324 and it's a 24, and that's going to be a strikeout to end the inning. 3 up and 3 down, and Blues retired 9 in a row. And that's going to be a drive to the power chart. Let's see what happens. It's a 531, and the 531 is going to be a 60 minus 4 is a 56 on Gene Tennis, and the 56 is line base hit to center, so he rips a rope off the bat of Gene Tennis. He's on at first. Next is Alou. Here's a pitch. It's a 255, so a 255 is a ground ball to short. And it's Harrelson who goes to second, and a throw to first not in time. Alou hustling down the line beats it out. So a fielder's choice in that situation. Here's Ray Fosse with a runner on, 1 out, and it's a 5-11. And he checks his swing, and he gets rung up. He went around. No need to check with the first base umpire on that. So here's Dick Green with 2 out, 1 on. Pitch, it is a 553. 553, that's going to be a base hit to left, and it's a 1-1-1-1-1-1-1, and that's a 1. And that will be a single. Runner will stop at second. And here's the pitcher, Vita Blue, who's a pitcher hitting card 2. Here's a pitch, and that's a 522, and a 522 is a strikeout to end the inning. So Blue goes down swinging. Looked helpless out there. And we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. The Mets are trailing by a score of 1-0. Now Blue is retired 9 in a row. He's going to face Garrett for the second time. He got him to fly out in the first inning. That's a 345 and a 345, and that will be a ground ball through the middle, and nobody will get there. That's the first hit of the game for the Mets, who trail 1-0. Here's Felix Mian. Here's a pitch, and that is a 631, and a 631 is a fly ball center field. Coming in a couple of steps is Jackson for the first out. Next is Rusty Staub, left-handed batter. That's a 154 and a 154, and that's a base hit. Hits one right back up the middle into center field. Runner will advance one base on that. So first and second, the Mets finally have something going here with Cleon Jones coming up, 2 men on, 1 out. Bottom of the fourth, Mets trail 1-0. The series is tied at 2 apiece. Here is Cleon Jones and the pitch, and that's going to be a 536, and a 536 is a foul strike. Do it again, and that is a 511, and a 511 is a pop-up. Oh, actually, that's a second flyout in this inning for the Mets. The Mets have only, they've got in 4 innings, they've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, hit 9 balls in the air. And that's going to bring up John the Hammer Milner, left-handed hitter for the Mets, who hit 23 home runs. So he was really the Mets power hitter in 1973. That's the most they got out of anybody. And here is John Milner against Vita Blue, lefty on lefty. Here's the pitch. Blue does give up the long ball. That's a 5 and a 32, and a 5 and a 32 is a wild pitch. And it looks like both runners are going to move up. That's going to put runners on second and third. And that wild pitch happens on Milner. I just make a quick note for myself. So during Milner's at bat, there was a wild pitch and 2 runners moved up. And then I've got, of course, my wild pitch, and I got a little arrow. I got to do a video on exactly what I do, because the more you do it, the more you kind of figure out things that you need later on when I try to recreate the game and pass the data onto, other formats to store for me and to keep track. I'm not doing it with this, but just my technique is always kind of tweaking it, modifying it, and helping me make what happened in the game a little bit clearer. Here is John Milner. Let's do it again. And that is a 2 and an 11, and that's ball 4. So he walks to load the bases. Now the Mets are in a good situation here. 2 outs, and Jerry Grody, who can be a clutch hitter, not very much power. He did hit a 3-run homer in the first game. He only had 1 home run in the whole season in 285 at-bats. He did have, looks like 32 RBIs. All right, so let's see if Grody can come up clutch here. It's Vita Blue, bases loaded. The Mets trail by a run here in the 4th, and here's a pitch, and that is a 232, and a 232 is going to be a fly out to left field. And right there is Rudy, and that ends the inning, so no runs. 2 hits, 3 left, and the Mets miss out on a big opportunity to put some runs on the board. All right, it's Koosman against Bert Campaneris. Here goes, and that is a 566, and that's a base hit. We're going to use the power chart. Probably a 345, and a 345 is a 65 minus 4. It's a 61. That's a single for Campaneris to lead off the top of the 5th inning. He will try to steal. And batter Rudy. Let's see if we can get that chart real quick here. Batter Rudy steps in, and Campaneris is going to be up a 6. So runner rating a 6, 2 to 8, and a 12, and Rudy takes outside to throw down from Grody, and the runner is safe. So Campaneris steals second. think it's the second stolen base for Campaneris in the series. So 1 on in scoring position, nobody out. Here's Joe Rudy. Here's the pitch from Koosman, and that's a 151. 151 is going to be a drive in the gap, and that's going to be one hop off the wall, played by the center fielder. And coming to score easily is Campaneris, and Rudy is going to hold up at second base with an RBI double. Big hit for Joe Rudy. Got a hold of a Koosman fastball and drove it towards left center field. It was center fielder Hahn who played it off the wall. And Rudy made a big turn around second base, thought about third base, but then with nobody out, didn't want to make that third out at third base. That's a no-no. Here's Salbando. And that's going to be a 546 and a 546. Again, we keep on rolling in that 5 and 6 column in between 51 and 66, and that's going to be a hit. And 46, it should be a 546. It should be here. So, okay, and that's going to be a nice running catch by the center fielder, Don Hahn. Don Hahn is a 3. He holds up at second base. Hahn gets it in quickly. So here's Reginald Martinez Jackson. Jackson was intentionally walked in the first, struck out, and this time Jerry Koosman is going to face him. Here's a pitch, and that is a 535, and that's just what the doctor ordered for Koosman. That's a fly ball to center. Right there is Don Hahn with a nice catch. Don Hahn is a pretty good fielder in this game. He's a 3, pretty decent fielder. Next up is Gene Tennis. Gene Tennis is 1 for 1 with a sac fly, so he's driven in a run. And Rudy's driven in the other run. And Tennis is up now with a runner in scoring position. Jerry Koosman checks in with Grody for the sign, likes what he sees, and delivers. And that's a 343, and a 343 will be a bouncer to third base, picked up by Garrett, on target to Milner. And the A's here in the top of the 5th take a 2-0 lead with 1 run on 2 hits. The big hit being that double by Rudy. We go to the bottom of the 5th, see if the Mets can get to Vita Blue. Hey guys, just to remind you to like and subscribe my channel. And after this game, you will see some deep drive baseball. It's a game that really flies under the radar. Not many people have discovered, but it doesn't have a whole lot of seasons, but the seasons that it does have, they're a lot of fun to play, and the game itself is a lot of fun. Also, you're going to see a little bit of Stratomatic. It's game 5 of my Nolan Ryan replay using the out of production 1974 cards that you can't get anywhere, and if you do find them, they're going to cost you an arm and a leg. It's a 1974 Nolan Ryan 5-game replay. I'm up to game 5, and really what I'm looking at is the walks per game. And he walked about 5.5 per game, and the last game was 3. A couple of previous games were around 6 and 7. So far, Stratomatic is doing its job. So stay tuned for that, and let's go back to the game here. We are in the bottom of the 5th. The Mets trail in the 1973 World Series Game 5. They trail by a score of 2-0. We're going to see Hahn, Harrelson, and Koosman face Vita Blue. Let's do it. All right, Vita Blue versus Don Hahn. Don Hahn batted in the 3rd and grounded out to first baseman Gene Tennis. It's a 463. And a 463 will be a hit, base hit to center. See what kind of hit it's going to be. It's a 252, and that will be an 86. This may go for extra bases. So a 252 is an 86, minus 2 is an 84. And that will be, it just misses a double. It gets cut off nicely by the center fielder, and Hahn is kept to a single. Next is Buddy Harrelson. Here's a pitch. And that's a 211. And a 211 is, let's see. All right, on Harrelson, it's a single, two, triple, so one or two, and it's a single. Otherwise, it's a shallow fly ball that let's see who's going to get to it. And it may turn into a triple for Buddy Harrelson driving in the first run and putting the tying run at third base. Let's see what happens. A 1 and a 2, and it's a single. And it's a single base hit, and they will hold Hahn. Oh, actually, yep, they will hold Hahn. And it's first and second with Koosman coming up, and Koosman will bunt. And Koosman is a 2-bunter, so let's roll the red and the white and add them up. That's a 10 on a 2, and a 10 is a catcher interference, safe at first, runners advance. Oh my goodness. All right, so I'm going to mark that down as a sacrifice and an E2, and that loads the bases. So I'm going to do an SE at each base, and Koosman. Bases are loaded, nobody out for the Mets, so they have a big opportunity here for sure. Wayne Garrett comes up, and here's a pitch to Garrett. Infield will be back. It's a 2 and a 63, and a 2 and a 63 will be a base on balls, and that'll force in a run. 2-1 now. RBI walk. Scoring is Hahn. Everybody moves up. And here's Felix Mian. Pitch from Blue. Infield is in this time. And that's going to be a 136. And a 136 is a ground ball and through for a base hit. RBI single for Mian. And the game is tied at 2 apiece here in the bottom of the 5th. And still no outs. So the A's are in a tough situation with Rusty Staub coming up, and the pitch from Blue, that is a 262, and a 262 is a ground ball, and that's through the right side for a base hit. The Mets have taken a lead. They still have the bases loaded. They've taken a 3-2 lead with a Rusty Staub single through the hole, and it's Cleon Jones. The bases are still loaded. Infield is in. And there's the pitch, and that is a 243, and a 243 is a base on balls, and that's going to be it for RBI. The Mets have taken a 4-2 lead. That's going to be it for Blue. And it looks like the Mets are going to probably bat around here in the bottom of the 5th. They've scored 4 runs. They lead at 4-2. The bases are still loaded. Nobody out. Infield is in. Darryl Knowles is the pitcher now. He's a left-hander. He had a good season, 52 games, 5 games started, and an ERA of 3.09. Here's the pitch to the lefty Milner. So it's a 252, and a 252 is a swing and a miss. Struck him out. Gets him. And pitch caught the inside corner, just above the knees. And a big strikeout for Darryl Knowles with the bases loaded. Infield is still in. Here comes Jerry Grody. Here's the pitch. He's 0 for 2 today. That's a 326. And a 326 will be a ground ball. Let's see with the infield in. All right, infield in. Let's roll the 1d6, and that's a 6. No force. All runners hold. Batter at first. Out. Runners advance only if open base, force, runner at third, out at home. So it's Campan. The ball's hit hard to Campaneris. He's going to go home with it, and it's a force play. They will get Mian at home, 6-2. And that going to bring up Don Hahn, who started this inning with a single and scored a run. So Don Hahn against Darryl Knowles. And here's the pitch. And that is a 1 and a 43, and a 143 is a pop-up. That's for the right side, right center field. Over is Jackson and Alou calls off Jackson to retire the side. But the Mets pick up 4 big runs on 1, 2, 3, 4 singles, 2 walks, and an error. And they lead it by a score 4-2 as we go to the top of the 6th. Yeah, so the wheels came off the car for Blue in that bottom of the fifth. He was replaced by Darrell Knowles. And it's going to be Jesus Alou leading off here against Jerry Koosman. Here's the pitch, and it's a 536. So 536 will be a high fly. Center field, Hahn. He's there and puts it away. Next is Ray Fosse, and that's a 663, and that's never good for Koosman. 663 is going to be a base hit. Let's see if it goes for extra bases or not. That's a 566, and a 566 is going to be a 13 minus 4, I think, is a 9. That's going to be a single. So he lines a single to left center, played on a hop by Cleon Jones, gets it into Harrelson. And on at first is Fosse. Dick Green is up next. Here's a pitch. And that is a 246, and that will be a 1 as a strikeout. Otherwise, struck him out. Big curveball from Koosman. Gets Green out in front for a big strikeout, and we're going to have to bring a pinch hitter here. All right, it's Billy Conigliaro, 1 on and 2 out. Here's the pitch to Conigliaro. It is a 353, and a 353 is a bouncer to second base, picked up by Mian. Over to first, and that retires the side, so no runs. 1 hit, 1 left, and Koosman, easy inning for Koosman, does a good job there. And we go to the bottom of the 6th with the Mets leading by a score 4-2. New pitcher for the A's is Paul Lindblad. Lindblad had a 3.69 ERA, appeared in 36 games, started 3. Here's the pitch. It's a 133, and that is going to be a strikeout. That's going up. It is a strikeout. He struck 49 times. I didn't think Harrelson struck out that much, but he did. So Lindblad gets him with a curveball. And next is Koosman. Koosman is a pitcher hitting card 1, so we're looking at this side. That's going to be a 54, and that's a bouncer to short. Easy play for Campaneris, and throws out Koosman with plenty of time. 2 away. Here's Garrett. And it's a 331. And that's a bouncer and a base hit. Gets through the infield. So that's the second hit of the day for Wayne Garrett. Here's Felix Mian, 2 outs, 1 on. Pitch from Lindblad. That's a 532, and that's going to be, could be extra bases. Let's see what happens. Power chart with and its efficiency rating is a 4. It's going to be a 551. And that's going to be a 24. That'll be a single. It's going to be a 2-base hit with that efficiency rating on the pitcher at a 4. So Mian lines 1 to left center field. That sends Garrett over to third. So we got first and third. And it's Rusty Staub, lefty on lefty. Here's a pitch. And it's a 156 and a 156. And that's going to be line base hit. A run comes in. Stopping at second is Mian. Big hit for Rusty Staub. And the Mets pick up another run. It's 5-2 now. And clean that up at the top there. And next up now we got runners on first and second. RBI single. That's a third hit for Staub and the second RBI. So he's having a good day. Here's Cleon Jones. So after 2 quick outs for Lindblad, with 3 consecutive singles, here's a pitch. And that is a 4-11, and a 4-11 struck him out. Got him swinging, and that retires the side. But 1 run comes in on 3 hits. Go to the top of the 7th. And the A's now trail by 3 runs. All right, Jerry Koosman is facing the top of the order. Campaneris, he's 1 for 3 today. Koosman checks in with the sign and likes what he sees. Lets it fly. It's a 163, and that's going to be a bouncer to third, picked up by Garrett. Garrett fires to first, and in time gets Campaneris by half a step. He's flying down the line. Here's a pitch to Rudy, and it's a 552. And that's going to be a base hit to left. Let's see what happens on the power chart. It's a 164. And that's an 82 minus 4 is a 78. And that is a drive in the gap. That's going to split the outfielders and roll to the wall. Second double of the game, the third hit for Rudy. So he's on at second base. He's having a good day. Normally struggles when I play Rudy, but here's Sal Bando, pitch from Koosman. It's going to be a 114, and that's ball 4, and that's going to be it for Koosman. They're going to the bullpen. You got to believe Tug McGraw against Reggie Jackson. First and second, one out here in the top of the 7th. The A's trail by 3. The pitch from McGraw. It's a 6 and a 12, and struck him out. Big K for Tug McGraw. Blows a fastball by Jackson. Corkscrewed into the ground, trying to tie this ball game up with one swing of the bat. Here's Gene Tennis. And that's a 663, and a 663 will be an infield error. It's bounced to Mian, and Mian lets it go through his legs. And that's going to be an E4 to load the bases. They're going to hold Rudy up at third base, and it says Susalu. With the bases loaded, Tug McGraw on the mound for the Mets. 2 outs here in the top of the 7th inning. So the tying run is on base. Gene Tennis is the tying run with Alou up. Now Alou has a little bit of power, hit 1 home run in 100 at bats, and not a lot of power. See what happens. Here's a pitch from McGraw, and that's going to be a 154 and a 154. It's going to be a fly ball center field. Would Hahn get there? And Hahn, a nice running catch, makes the play. So no runs, 1 hit, an error, and a walk. The A's leave the bases loaded. An exciting inning, but Tug McGraw comes in and comes up big. Go to the bottom of the 7th inning stretch, get to that concession, grab that last brewski. Closing up those concessions early now. And we will continue the game, 5-2 Mets. Okay, it's Lindblad versus John Milner. And that's a 635, and a 635 will be a ground ball to the first baseman, played by Tennis, and Milner's been retired. And we're going to the bullpen. It's going to be John Odom coming in, a righty to face 2 righties against Grody. Here's the pitch from Odom. And that is a 3 and a 21. So 321, and that's bounced to short. Campaneris, easy play, 2 down. Next is Don Hahn. Pitch from Odom. So 153, and a 53 is a ground ball base hit. 2 out single for Hahn. Harrelson's next. Harrelson is 1 for 3 today. Flied out, single, then struck out. And that is a 331, and a 331 is he's going to be batting against the righty. He'll be batting lefty, so that's granted to Bando. Bando with a backhand goes to second for the force, and that retires the side. No runs, a hit, 1 left, and we move to the top of the 8th inning. The A's are down to the last 6 outs. Now, what's interesting is that Tug McGraw had a 3.87 ERA, 55 walks in 119 innings. Not very good, and 106 hits, so he did not have his best season in 1973. But I'll tell you, he performed in this series. So it's going to be Ray Fosse leading off here in the top of the 8th inning with the A's trailing by a score of 5-2. Fosse today is 1 for 3, a couple of strikeouts and a single. Here's the pitch from McGraw. And that is a 2 and a 66. And a 266 is cracked to right center field. On the run is right fielder Staub, and he makes the catch, 1 down. Dick Green is next. And that is a 66 and a 55. 6 and a 55 will be a base on balls. So Green walks. We got a pinch hitter here. Mangwal hits against Angel. Mangwal batted .224, 3 home runs and 200 at bats. Here's the pitch, and it's a .256. 256 is going to be a strikeout. Another K for Tug McGraw, and now it's the top of the order. Campy against Tug McGraw, 1 on. The tying run is on deck, and Joe Rudy. Here's the pitch to Campaneris. It's a 441, and a 441 is a base on ball, so he walks Campaneris. And Joe Rudy's up. Joe Rudy had 12 home runs and 430 at bats, so he's got some power, not great power. Here's Tug McGraw versus Joe Rudy as the tying run here in the top of the 8th inning. Game 5 of the 1973 World Series replay using Here's the Pitch. And Tug McGraw deals. It's a 5.53, and a 5.53 will be a ground ball to third, scooped up by Garrett. Garrett over to first, and in time, no runs. No hits, 2 walks, and we move to the bottom of the 8th. 5-2 Mets. Good game we got going here. All right, it will be Pena against Tug McGraw. We'll be using Koosman's card, and that is a 4.64, and that's that's not going to be a home run. We're going to make that a single for Tug McGraw. Little blooper, a little Texas leaguer that drops in, a lucky shot. So McGraw's on at first. Next is Garrett. Pitch from Pena. It's a 262, and a 262 will be a base on balls. So Pena's struggling here. A little bloop hit, and now a single. A little bad luck and a little lack of control. And Mian is going to bunt. Mian is a 3-bunter. And that's an 11, which is a 1, and that's a missed strike, no play. So he's going to bunt again. Do it again. It's a 9. And a 9 is a 2, and that's a good bunt. It was a 2. It is 2-4, which is the pitcher. So a sacrifice. 1-4. Going to second is Garrett. Going to third is McGraw. Rusty Staub is going to be walked intentionally to load the bases, and field will be in. And it's Pena against Cleon Jones. Here's the pitch from Pena. It's a 6 and a 45. So 6 and a 45 will be a ground ball. Ground ball to second base, and it's a 6, and that it will be a force play at home. So it's a 4-2. Bases continue to be loaded with 2 outs now. Everybody moves up a base. And it's John Milner, the left-hander. Here's a pitch. Pena versus Milner. Bases loaded. Mets could break it wide open here. And that's a pitch, and that is a 5.34. And a 5 and a 34 is a hit by pitch. That's going to force in a run. So Milner gets plunked. RBI hit by pitch. Bases are still loaded. And next is Jerry Grody. Pitch to Grody. It's a 226. And that's going to be a drive. And that's a base hit, RBI single, and it's a 7-2 score now. And that's going to be it for Pena. Scoring is stopped. Bases are still loaded. And we're going to see Raleigh Fingers coming in. Jerry Grody comes up clutch. And it's going to be Don Hahn versus Raleigh Fingers with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th inning, where the Mets have come up with 2 more runs on walks and hit by pitches and singles. RBI single by Jerry Grody. Here's the pitch from Fingers. Fingers had an ERA of 1.92, so he had an outstanding season. and that's going to be a 244, and a 244 is a, let's see, yeah, it's a line drive. No, that's a hard hit ball, bounces right to the third baseman. And that's Bando throws over to first, and that retires the side. So 2 runs come in on 2 hits and a couple of walks and a hit by pitch. Mets lead it by a score of 7-2, and it's last licks, 9th inning. Bando leads off for the Mets. Here's a pitch, and it's a 6:55, and a 6:55 will be ball 4. So Tug McGraw walks Bando to lead off the 9th. Jackson is next. Jackson is 0 for 3, and it's a 5 and a 12, and that's going to be a ground ball. Could be a double. No, it's going to be a fielder's choice, and Reggie's on at first. Next is Gene Tennis with 1 out and 1 on here in the top of the 9th. Pitch from McGraw, and that is a 146, and that will be a base hit if it's 4 or less. Let's roll, and it's not. So that's going to be a deep drive way back, and that ball is gone. Home run for Gene Tennis, 2-run shot, and it's a 7-4 score now. And McGraw is still in there. He's got more than 2, so he loses an efficiency rating. I think he's in a save sense. You know what? I'm going to pull McGraw. Sadecki's in there. The pitch to Alou, and that is a 6 and a 55, and that will be a ground ball to short. Easy play for Harrelson. 2 down. Next is Ray Fosse. Ray Fosse's 1 for 4 today. The pitch from Sadecki, the lefty, is a 2 and a 42, and a 242 is a fly ball center field. On the run is Hahn, and Hahn catches up to it. That's the ball game. The A's come up with 2 runs on a 2-run homer by Gene Tennis in the top of the 9th. Final score is 7-4. Mets win it. All right, the recap. Blue's going to take the loss. The win's going to go to Koosman. Final score is the Mets 7, the A's 4. Mets with 7 runs, 12 hits, and 1 error. The A's with 4 runs, 9 hits, and 1 error. The Mets have taken a 3-2 lead in the series. We go back to Oakland for games 6 and 7, and the pressure now is on Oakland to win both those games. They will have coming up will be Jim Catfish Hunter versus Tom Seaver, and in the final game it will be John Matlack versus Kenny Holtzman. Again, the 3rd rematch of those 2 pitchers going at each other. So it's shaping up to be an excellent and exciting series. Let's see if the A's can come back. They will be at home. There's a certain level of field advantage in this game. I have to look at it. And that's about it. Remember to like and subscribe to my channel. This is Tony Porter, Cards and Dice TV. Remember to join the Universal Baseball Association Facebook group as well. There's a lot of fun chats and discussions in that group. And stay tuned for a little deep drive baseball and then some Stratomatic baseball as well. And see you guys soon. Keep rolling.